welcome everybody to the second round of the European Rally Championship. Welcome to Rally Hungary. This event kicked off our season last year, and it was one of the most exciting events of the whole year. Just to give you some perspective and context on that, last year, the overall leader changed 7 times over 13 stages, and we had 5 different drivers leading the rally. It was, from start to finish, a heck of an event, and I'm sure it's going to be the same this year. Some slightly different conditions, though, for our drivers this time around. Chillier temperatures. There's been quite a bit of rain in the past few days as we watch Andrea Mabellini and Virgie Lenzi head into qualifying. Qualifying is first up, and of course the best place to be on the road on a gravel event is further back in the field. So that is what the drivers are going to be hoping for on this qualifying session. I'm Bex Williams, ready to talk you through it. Alongside me is our rallying expert, Julian Porter.
Yeah, let's see what goes on, as you say. Mabellini obviously running a car that's been in Kenya with the flashing lights on the front. Maybe that's not being changed in the ECU. Kenya was a long time ago. I don't know when this car last ran, but yeah, it was a really, there was massive amounts of lead changes last year, but I really enjoyed this event. It was so many stories everywhere.
There really was, you know, and it's the first gravel event to kick off the season for us as well. And you can see there are some damp sections. It has been drying though. The past couple of days, there's been rain. There was some rain on the recce. Not too much though, but the stage is drying out. We were just hearing in from the safety crew that at 2.4 kilometers in, there's some quite big ruts already forming. And yeah, we can see some ruts here.
That might help Mabellini though, because as you were saying, you don't want to be first on the road really on a gravel. But if there is some ruts, if there is a little bit of cleaning, and it will clean even more, but it might just be better than coming out before a free practice run.
Yeah, it is quite rutted, isn't that, through that section? In the corners is where you do find the most ruts under braking, but my goodness, that sector is really going to dig out, I think, as we see more and more drivers go through.
And you could end up with that the situation that we had with Franceschi last year, in a tightish corner, hooking it into it. Look, just there, very, very slight lift of the inside wheels, and you hit that at speed, and potentially the momentum as it's stopping the outer wheels in the rut. The car could roll over or have a bit of a two-wheel moment. So they will have to look at it. It's brutal, isn't it?
It is brutal. It felt like, and some drivers actually did compare it to Safari Spec last year, if you remember.
Mabellini's got the lights for it anyway. I don't know what he's trying to warn that's coming, but anyway, let's see.
Miko Marcik has had success here at Rally Hungary in the past. But last year, you know, when we're looking back to kind of last year's overall results, it was an incredible event for Simone Tempestini, who not only took his first ERC podium, but also his first win, all combined together. Miko Marcik, though, what are your hopes and expectations for Miko this year?
Well, I mean, I like Miko Marcik. You know, if we want a stage description, we want something analysing, he's absolutely brilliant for it. And he's given so much of his career to the European Rally Championship. I think there is a big chance because he's doing a full campaign, but I think he just suffers slightly with confidence when in Sierra Morena he just wasn't. The fans are out. Look at that, brilliant shot, love it.
Passionate fans already on display.
And I think if he doesn't hook it up right at the start, it takes him a little while to get in. And you'd normally find on a second ever run, he's right on it, unstoppable. Needs to find out on a first day, on a first big day, because these are his rivals. They're on it from the very start, and they don't give it. So he just needs for me to just be more belief in himself on the first big day.
Well, let's see how he fares tomorrow. Then we do have the opening stage of the event taking place tonight, a head-to-head super special stage, which will run later on this evening. But back with Andrea Mabellini and Virgie Lenzi now. And the drivers have been through let's get my teeth in this morning. Free practice. Ooh, just offline there. A little wide onto the grass from Mabellini.
He was in the rut, and then it just bounced out, and because he was carrying so much speed to try and take the rut, a 3:33.9 for him. When he popped out, obviously but did you notice a I've got a feeling there've been a few others out there. I don't know whether it's actually a purposeful line that they're maybe trying to take.
It was John Armstrong who was quickest in free practice earlier this morning. Rupert Korhonen and Mikko Marcek made up the top 3 in free practice. As we watch Mads Osberg here. We'll be hearing from Andrea Mabellini very shortly. He's the first person to complete qualifying. Pete Mackay is at the stop control for us. Great
Andrea, this is full safari mode. You've got the flashing lights, the hat. Tell us about that.
Yeah, it was nice to start off the race. I think we had a clean run. We are happy with what we did. So, yeah, let's see with some safari mood with the car, with the flashing headlights and the hat. Maybe we can have more lucky for the rest of the race, because you know here is a little bit more about punctures, big stones, avoiding things. So, yeah, we will try our best for sure.
Yeah, we certainly noticed that last year, and you know, I love the fact that Rally Hungary changed, because we'd seen it on tarmac, then we ventured into the Veszprém region where we are now, Veszprém itself, which has hosted this event for over 4 decades. This rally is famous here and has been a huge part of rallying in Hungary. And then for our ERC crews to venture here onto the gravel and experience all the highs and lows that they did last year, really was a little bit of a lottery on some stages, because they were safari-esque. Brilliant to see so many people already, though, Jules. You know, it is just the opening day. We've only got 1 stage later, but so many fans are out and about already.
It is great, but what is quite tricky and demanding is, again, that's that corner right at the end, isn't it?
I don't think they have much option there, do they? Because there's a bit of a kicker there that's throwing them offline. Yeah,
and they're just getting spat out, aren't they, onto that wider line? But it's quite demanding. The driver can brace themselves on the steering wheel. The co-driver obviously knows what's coming because they're reading the pace notes. But when you do hit a bump, we're watching it, they're bouncing all over the place. It is very, very demanding, and co-drivers' bums but lower backs would be a bit sore, I think, and a bit numb.
Time for Mikko Marcek was 3:36.2 then. That is slower than Andrea Mabellini. So Mabellini's is the time to beat on qualifying so far. Let's cross out and hear from Mikko.
Mikko, a few seconds drop to Andrea Mabellini through there. How was your qualifying run?
As we said, see on the time, not such good. We have some issue. We need to think about it before the race. But okay, we drive quite clean, but without this final top performance which we need.
What's the issue?
Yeah, just some things on the setup side, but okay, the race is in front of us.
Okay, that's intriguing. We'll see if we can get into service a little bit later on and find out exactly what he means there. He said it's with regard to the setup, but he's in the driver book of vague there. So we'll try and find out if we can find out exactly what the issue is for you by the time the Super Special gets underway.
It was quite, as you say, vague, wasn't it? But at least then he did say about the setup. I've done some research whilst we were listening to that interview. Mabellini's car, we saw about the flashing lights from the Safari, that was the car Gus Greensmith drove in Safari Rally Kenya, and it was the car that Gus actually drove as well in Monte Carlo. So that is where the flashing lights have come from.
There we go. Thank you for that little update, Julian.
I'll tell you what, we're talking about being first on the road. Maybe it wasn't the place to be, but Mabellini's maxed it so far.
He really has, hasn't he? That is 2.9 seconds faster than Mads Osberg through there. Mads' body language there, making it sound like, yeah, maybe there's a lot of movement there within the car.
Yeah, there was kind of, I would say that's potentially a balance-ish, a balance chat with the hand whirring and wearing all over the place.
Let's get the latest from Mads then with Pete.
Mads, welcome back to Hungary. Great to see you make the start this year. It was such disappointment last year, but tell me how you're feeling ahead of this event.
Yeah, I feel quite good, to be honest. It's a very nice event. I was really sad not to do it last year, so yeah, I will conquer the stages mainly for first time, many of them. See, I've done the national rally 4 years ago, but and yeah, it's a lot of new things. So we will do our best for sure. We try to be clever with the tires for the qualifying. I hope we are not paying too big of a price for that.
Intrigue already with our tyres, and you know, Bex, we have 4 tyre brands. I get a little bit frustrated because they won't tell us what they order on, but Mads is playing a game that potentially he'll suffer here on a shorter stage, potentially benefit on a longer one. But is that a soft, medium or hard? We'll never know.
No, we won't know. We might know a little bit later after qualifying, maybe. Yeah, Pete mentioned the fact that Mads didn't compete here. I remember waiting for him to turn up at the service area last year, and then it was, you know, announced he wouldn't actually be able to compete, and that was a real shame. But we have 3 drivers now in a row who had no experience, certainly from last year, no experience. Jakob Matulka being one of them.
I don't think that's a bad run though for Jakob, because he's still learning in this car at this level. So that's, I might be wrong, but I would say he'd be pretty happy with that performance there.
Yeah, it is a 3:37.9, so 4th fastest at the moment at least. As we watch the man who impressed us all at the opening round of the ERC in Sierra Morena just a few weeks ago, Jos Verstappen.
Medium 4 right minus plate. Medium 4 minus plate. 250.
Jakob, welcome to Hungary, round 2 of the European Rally Championship. How was your qualifying run?
Yeah, it was okay. It was a good run from us. I was expecting this kind of roughness, but overall it was a good run, so yeah, I'm happy. Let's see what will do the guys behind, but I'm hoping for a not so bad road position for tomorrow.
And this is the key, isn't it? This is why we have the qualifying stage, to give them the optimum position on the road tomorrow. We've got a total of 13 stages here, 192 competitive kilometres across the weekend. Roberto blasts into shot.
As you say, when you're watching the pictures, the cars never really got 4 wheels on the ground, because they're hopping and skipping all over the place, and that suspension travel would be being absolutely stretched to its maximum.
So the fastest time through so far in qualifying, if you are just joining us, if you are, welcome along. It is a 3:33.9, and that is from Andrea Mabellini. Let's see if anybody can beat that time out there. We've got a fantastic lineup of drivers who are competing on this second round of the European Rally Championship this weekend. You can see the countdown to Mabellini's time as Roberto makes his way through. We are going to head into the red here, but by how much?
Roberto, even in Spain, he was just struggling a little bit, wasn't he? But that's particularly slow, because they normally, I know the flying finish is on that corner, but they're normally absolutely flying into there. I'm not sure whether, I think he's got more pace in him than that, unless he's taking it very, very steady.
Now, just on the tyre front, just to confirm, Pete's having a look at the tyres at the stop control for us. He's saying Marchek and Osberg were on a hard compound tyre, Matulka on medium.
5 plus cut over jump. Open over crest, 50. 4 left minus. 4 minus, 70. 3 left plus sec, don't go wide. 3 left plus sec, don't go wide. 100. Crest okay. 100, another crest okay.
Roberto, such a different challenge here in Hungary. How are you finding it so far?
Yeah, I really like the stages. I really like this qualifying. The time now is good, but I really enjoy it.
Seems happy enough, which is good. That's encouraging, even though the time maybe wasn't where he'd want it. First time I've seen in car with Jos Verstappen. Be a tough weekend for him, obviously, on the gravel. Winner in Belgium only a few days ago. English pace notes, obviously, the code. I was kind of, I was out on the road in Spain, so I wasn't listening to anything inside. Every time I speak to him, he is in English. So.
It was really interesting to hear Renault calling the notes, because during the morning session, certainly on the first day of the rally in Sierra Morena, Jos was asking quite a few times for them to be repeated, just checking them. But then, as you know, he got into the second pass, and then by the next day, there was none of that.
Yeah.
You know, the confidence was there in the notes that he created. He didn't need to check. But what a spectacular performance from him. We saw a lot of commitment from Verstappen on the opening round. We're expecting to see that here. It was the win in the Masters Cup for him. So, you know, fantastic start to the whole season for Jos Verstappen, but a very different challenge on the gravel here.
Yeah, I think this will be quite tough for him, and you know he's not hiding away from that fact. He's very open of, yeah, even stating, let's learn this year, and when we come back next year, we should be better.
Time for Verstappen of 3:44.6. So that's fifth fastest out of a total of 6 drivers who are through so far. Switch out to Pete, we'll come back. We'll keep an eye here on Rupa Korhonen.
Jos, the gravel adventure begins. How are you finding it so far?
Difficult. Yeah, I must say, we did the shakedown and we were completely off the pace, and so I tried even harder, but this is the maximum for now I can do, but it is how it is, and I think, you know, for the first time on real gravel, there's a lot to learn, and that's why we are here, and to gain experience.
That's exactly, yeah. So, the Toyota we were just watching, we're not sure. We've got a little video through. I haven't noticed it. There is the door, the driver door on Rupa Korhonen's car is gaffer taped up for some reason. But anyway, Hungarian driver here battling with Verstappen. He's
absolutely
made his thoughts very clear of what he wants in the Masters Championship this weekend.
And Andras Hadek has, you know, great form, obviously, on Hungarian soil. It was fantastic to watch them against each other in Sierra Morena. Now we're going to be very much in favour of Hadek here. Let's see what the comparison in times will be.
Yeah, as you say, on 2 elements. 1, the gravel. He's got a bit more experience on gravel than Verstappen. 2, he's at home. So when you're putting out your championship campaign and everything, you do kind of strategize events of, but I think oh no, Verstappen was just a bit slower than that, so. No, he's quicker.
Verstappen is quicker than Hadek. So Hadek is a 3:44.9, Verstappen a 3:44.6. There's not much in it.
No.
As we see John Armstrong, he was 8th overall here last year.
And the fastest car you said earlier on through the free practice.
Yeah, he was fastest on free practice, that's correct. Good afternoon, Andres. Let's find out how he's feeling.
Andras, this is going to be a great battle in the ERC Masters. How was your qualifying?
Crazy stage, lot of big stone. I think a puncture. I don't know.
Yeah, just as he was saying the word puncture, we could really hear John Armstrong.
It bottomed out.
Yeah, quite hard, wasn't it?
Yeah, so if you look on the driver's door, the left-hand door, there's a bit of black race tape, gaffer tape, whatever you want to call it, that seems to be holding the door shut. And
okay.
I'm not really sure why.
Maybe we'll find out. Maybe it was something from free practice, but I tell you what, this man's credentials are pretty strong. He was in 2023 the WRC3 champion, Finnish champion of last season. He did Rally Terras Ababuera in Portugal just a couple of weeks ago, just last weekend, and he was 4th overall there. So he's got a bit of gravel, recent gravel experience under his belt. Okay, that was on different tyres there, but still it's the experience, just getting your mindset back into gravel mode.
Here we go.
Rupa Korhonen, 3:33.8 is the fastest time through.
But yeah, when we're saying we'll hear from him, that driver's door's taped up, so I'm not sure whether Pete's going to have to go around the other side. I don't know.
Yeah, whether he can open it or not. Maybe not.
Not a lot of tape, but there's some tape high up on the door. I'm not sure why.
Might have to have a word with co-driver Ansi instead. Okay, last year's winner of this event now, Simone Tempestini.
Door's open, that's good.
Rupa, that's fastest through so far. And I know some drivers don't like to chat, but taping your door shut is one way to do it. How was the run?
Yeah, quite okay. One place I noticed that maybe we had puncture, but hopefully no. But yeah, happy to be here, first time in Hungary and the first ERC event for us.
Yeah, it's great to see, isn't it? MRF tyres for Ruben Korhonen. And first ERC event. And already quickest at qualifying. So far, at least, we have more drivers to come through. Who is going to be your pick out there for our top three? Remember last year it was Tempestini, Franceschi, and Mixi Shimos, who was on the podium, and Mixi is back this year.
Again, another MRF driver when he comes back, but Armstrong, is this the time? Even though he's from Ireland and a lot of tarmac rally in Ireland, he's got a lot of experience on gravel. A lot of his junior career was on gravel, so he has a chance, and he's got good road position in the qualifying, which could help him in there to get his time. Oh, just got spat out there, changed the direction of the where he was wanting to go.
Now we're into the red here in terms of time, not by much though.
No.
0.9 of a second, 9/10. That puts him third fastest through. So it's Korhonen, Mabellini, Armstrong, the top three in qualifying so far here at Rally Hungary.
And that little being spat out right there, that that wouldn't have made a difference in his position, but it just got kicked out.
Oh, look at it's just the ruts on that corner are just.
Yeah. That wouldn't have got him into second or first, because it was maybe just a couple of tenths.
On board now with Strateski.
John, the rear right tyres just pushing off the rim. Could you feel that towards the end of the stage?
Yeah, I don't know where that happened. Might have been somewhere near the start. It was quite rough to start, and then it did feel a bit strange, but yeah, still a pretty good run. And I would have taken that this morning, so we're pretty happy with that.
Well, that rut he hit not far from the end it did impact the rear right, so but he felt maybe it was from the start. But anyway, Simone Tempestini now, obviously fantastic memories of last year, and I talked about how many times the lead changed here last year. But it was Simone Tempestini that walked away with the win. And the celebrations in the service park when he came back was something really special to see.
Talking about Korhonen driving different rallies, different tyres. This pairing, they drive different cars, a lot of different cars, Porsches, whatever they can kind of get their hands on.
1.2 seconds off the pace right to the front then. That is Tempestini through fourth fastest in qualifying.
MRF are having a good run. You know, they got the first car, they got the fourth car, and they've still got Mixi to come as well. So be interested to see that big tyre battle that's going on, because MRF did struggle in the first round, and they brought some big guns in, haven't they, for this weekend?
I would say so.
Simone, that's fourth quickest. So many good memories from last year with the win, back with the Skoda, back with Sergio. How happy are you to be back here?
We are really happy every time we are racing in the gravel, so for sure it will be a really nice week, I hope. It's anyway a pleasure to be at the start in the European Rally Championship. Last year it was a really good race for us. We will try to make again, but yes, for sure it will be a challenging one for everybody.
No one can dispute that Martin Laszlo is not pushing. That was a heck of an entry into shot then, wasn't it?
It was. I mean, we bounced slightly offline, and then that was it. We were kind of just like drifting along the top of the gravel. It was, quite spectacular.
It really was. Great to see. Dominic Strateski now.
Actually, whilst we waited to do an interview yesterday with Mads out on the recce, we didn't have pizza, but Dominic and I had a pizza whilst we were like chatting and waiting for Mads. So they were saying how demanding and tough the recce was. Long day for them, for all the crews yesterday.
It was a really long day of recce. Look, and we saw it with the previous car as well, how much suspension travel you can see here on the cars. I mean, they are running as high as you would like, and you can really see it through the corners.
He's just taken away that front. It's not so bad on a gravel type. He just took away what is that?
Can't quite work it out.
No, I don't know what that is, whether it's just like a drinks pipe or something, but there's something kind of between the seats that's sticking out. But yeah, he just clipped one of the anti-cuts on the inside. Not so bad on a gravel tyre because they're quite strong, but on a tarmac tyre, it is it's a little bit more risky, so he's got away with that. Philip Allen, Craig Drew back with him. He said he's a bit stiff and sore when I saw him yesterday.
Yeah, it is good to see Craig back. He had a different co-driver in Dale Bowen at the last event he was at, which was WRC event in Gran Canaria. There's Martin Laszlo. Aggressively appearing into shot. That was a few moments ago.
You can do that here with the runoff. It's nice wide area. You can really commit.
It's such a beautiful contrast. Gravel is my favourite to watch these drivers. Let's hear from Dominic.
Dominic, this is a whole new adventure for you. We know how quick you are on tarmac. How are you finding the gravel so far?
It's something completely different for me, but I feel good for me, and it's important. And yeah, we will see. It's just to go through the rally and earn so much experience and learn from it to the future. Thank you.
Yeah, we know what a force Dominic is on tarmac, but as he said, gravel, not his favoured surface, so it is a big learning curve for him. Back on board with Martin then, who was 13th overall in the event last year. Yeah, we've come from, obviously, Sierra Morena with the precision that you have to have on the tarmac. And a difficult event there because of all the cuts, the debris that got dragged onto the stage was gravel in some respects. You come into a gravel rally which has its very own way for you to drive. It's a little bit more forgiving than the precision you have to have on tarmac. You can get away with a little bit more, but you can also have very big incidences here.
That's not a bad time at all. 4.8 down. Bearing in mind there was half a second left on the outside of that corner, but as you said there correctly, Bex, is about. The car's always moving around everywhere, so you can always try and potentially bring it back. On tarmac, you've got this immense amount of grip from all of the tyres that you've got. The cars are beautiful, and then all of a sudden, if you lose that grip, there's not a lot of margin for error. Here, the car's always underneath you, moving around, and then you do have bigger areas to collect it together.
So true. If you're just joining us for the first time, qualifying well underway here on the second round of the ERC for this season. We are at Rally Hungary, and it is Rupa Korhonen who is leading the way in qualifying right now with a time of 3:33.8. Mabellini is second. John Armstrong is in third. Philip Allen, you are so lucky. Oh my goodness, that was almost a roll. That car almost went over and over again, but he's managed to hold it together.
And then just let's get on with it. Let's carry on. Like, I think, has he got a, maybe he has a, oh no, I didn't know whether the tyre was down. The steering's gone. The steering or the damper's broke. Yeah, the steering and the damper is broken, both of them. Look at the wheel.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's got to be really careful now. He doesn't know it. He's now got no steering.
But he's still going at a pretty strong pace here. I think he's realising maybe now.
He's about to, yeah. But the damper has gone and the steering on the right-hand front.
That was 4 kilometres into the stage, Philip Allen.
Yeah. So now he's, we're like a shopping trolley now. And not in a good way either. You know, you sometimes in the shopping mall, you can like drift it around the corner one way or the other, like from aisle to aisle. Or you can have one of those that has wheels just going all over the place, and doesn't matter what you do, you just start hitting something, you know, the fruit and veg. That's what he's got right now.
That's a great description. There's a great analogy there, Julian. But there's, you know, that happened 4 kilometres in, is another 2K to go. Let's just take a look at it again. Oh, up on 2 wheels. So lucky that didn't roll. My goodness.
And what's interesting is the steering and the damper were gone immediately. What's interesting is it was the left that he went up in the air on, you know, the left-hand side. But because of when he was going into the bank and the ditch, it was the front right with all the weight on it that damaged it. I was just concerned about the next corner because of that kind of situation, because he was still pushing on really hard. And I was like, when he discovers he's got no steering, this could be like kind of like a bit scary.
Toxic now. Always great to have Norbert as part of the ERC.
Multiple Hungarian champion in the past, so the tyre is just off the rim. The tyre's actually held up really, really well, but everything else is a bit sorry for itself in that corner.
Okay, let's see if we can get in and grab a word with Philip.
Philip, tell us what happened in there.
Just cut in a bit tight on a right-hander, and there was a hole, and obviously, I don't know, there's a puncture. The rim broke, is it?
No, it's not too bad. Just pushed off the rim a little bit. Any other damage, do you think?
No, I don't know. It feels really difficult to drive on a puncture, but yeah, I was enjoying that earlier now, but it's grand.
Better to do it in qualifying.
I don't know. It doesn't leave it good for tomorrow, but yeah, we'll try. Thank you.
Yeah, there is that. He'll be fired out potentially first on the road. I'm trying to think how it all works, because everyone's got to get it's top 15 reversed. It's quite technical and working out. So what's great to see is Jaroslav Kultan. We didn't see him at all in Spain. He wasn't very well, I think it was, and he never started anything.
And it's always desperate when that situation happens, but very much through the stage here, Jaroslav, it was a 3:44.6, which is 10th fastest out of a total of 14 drivers that we have through so far.
Jaroslav, that's 10th quickest. It's great to see you back after missing you in Sierra Morena. How was this run?
Very hard and very tough, yes. A lot of big stones.
And that's one thing that's going to be apparent throughout the entire weekend. It's certainly what we saw last year. You know, these big rocks, these big stones get pulled out. Some of the bedrock appears. You can get rutting. It's a real varied terrain, and it's a technical terrain. It's super challenging for the crews, but it's, like I mentioned right at the start of the show, it was one of the most exciting events to watch last year.
It was great. I loved it. I used to say, even when we went on the tarmac rounds in Hungary in the European Championship, they were cool rallies as well, because it was in autumn. We had those beautiful colours. The stages was always a bit damp in the morning, then you get a bit of sun, and then there was a bit of dirt pulled out. It was a very demanding tarmac rally, and then equally demanding gravel. But I think this is a great event. I really do. But what can Norby do here? He had a tough entry back into the championship in Sierra Morena with the Toyota from Lorena Racing, which I think he's going to go back to that. He's just doing the home round in his Skoda that he knows.
A shake of the hand at the end of qualifying. As you can see, they're 9th fastest. Still no one to beat, at the moment at least, Rupa Korhonen. Let's see if that time can be beaten. We have more drivers to follow. I think we've got about 5 or 6 cars more to go that we will be following here. Dariusz Biedrzyński now.
Martin Vanek, saw him on the first round as well. Czech driver, probably a bit more au fait and an understanding of the gravel, but you know what? Get out there, enjoy the European Rally Championship, whether it's gravel or tarmac.
So, 9th quickest through there, how was that run?
Everything was okay. I tried to keep the car and careful the car. I was driving a little bit careful, but everything okay. The tires and the car is absolutely okay.
Just looking to see, you know, especially into the corners as you talked about with the ruts. We've seen a couple of moments from some drivers, some handling it better than others. Ruts can work for you, they can work against you, Julian, yes?
Yes, and the problem is if you don't get it quite right and you hit one, as we saw with like Philip Ballard. To be fair, I'm not sure Philip Ballard was a rut thing. I think that was just a cut on the inside of a corner, taking it a bit too deep. But we've seen, well, particularly Mabellini, first car on the road, we were like a bucking bronco down through there. It really was.
Yeah, certainly something the ruts can really throw you offline, or sometimes you can lean on them, they can help you out. It's, yeah. always a bit of a lottery as to which way it's going to go. Let's see what time Martin can set here. Remember, we've got 15 drivers who have completed so far, the slowest of which through has been Philip Allen with that incident where he almost rolled. You think he's damaged his steering, Philip Allen, don't you, from what we can certainly see?
Damper and steering for me. Steering, maybe a steering arm, because the wheel was just wobbling all over.
There was a lot of movement in that front right.
And it was bouncing up and down a real lot, which for me, that would be a front damper and a steering arm. But it did take a big impact when he was on one, kind of two wheels, and then he hit the embankment, and I think that's when the damage was done. If he hadn't hit the embankment, he'd have just got away with it and dropped a few seconds. But unfortunately, not a great stage time for them.
The legend here, it is Frigyes Turan. You had a chat with him this morning?
I did have a chat with him. He seemed very happy, very relaxed. He said, the problem I've got, he said, I'm looking at three kind of things. I'll come back to it after we spoke to Martin.
Martin, qualifying complete, how was it?
Je to pro nás moc těžké, jsme tady v podstatě poprvé na šotelině po nějakých 5 letech a já úplně vůbec nevím, co s tím autem mám dělat, kde je vlastně ta rychlá stopa, kde je ta pomalá, nevím, kde udělám defekt, ale zatím je to super, bavíme se moc.
Any translations welcome?
Yeah, we have a lot of Czech fans watching the rally. Obviously, Barham Czech Rallies in when we go, there's massive support. So yeah, anybody who is listening that's got our numbers, fire the translation over.
Just interesting there as we were watching him going through that sector where the trees were. It was quite damp still under the trees, which is certainly what you find. But now in the open plains, it is drying out. We're getting a lot of dust out the back of the cars. It has, the first few days of the week here, there was some rain, quite a bit of rain on some stages. So a lot of the recce cars were covered in mud after recce yesterday. But it is drying out beautifully now. I'm not sure there's much rain in the forecast for this weekend. I think it's going to be pretty dry.
We had a tiny bit of rain yesterday, but that was all. But as you say, the recce cars were quite dirty. But that wind, big open areas, wind goes along. If there is any sun comes out, it can quickly dry it up. So let's see, yeah.
Darius then completes 24.2 seconds off the time right at the front of the field in qualifying. That time held by Rupa Korhonen. Mixie is back in business. Really keen to see what Mixie can do. I think he inspires so many fans around the world. He's got such a following, Julian, hasn't he?
I mean, yeah, you look at their service area, there's a few cars in there, but they're all only around one. There's a lot of fans around that one car.
Darius, welcome to Hungary. How was that qualifying run?
To pierwsze kilometry szutrowe samochodem Rally 2. Uczymy się całkowicie nowego zawieszenia, nowego samochodu, ale mamy wielki fan z jazdy. Plan na weekend, jak powtarzałem, uczyć się i nie zrobić sobie kłopotu. Dziękuję.
Now we're into that sector, well, we just left it, but where it was a little bit damper than this open section that we're into now. What can Turan do here?
Yeah, Turan was saying he's kind of he's fighting on three fronts this weekend. Obviously the national championship, as well as the ERC, see how he can get along with them. But the Masters, he says that's what he said. He says it could be good battle in the Masters. So let's see what he can do. But yeah, national championship, bit of Masters, and if it's going really well, let's see how I get on in the ERC.
Yeah, many fronts then, as you say. A little shake of the hand then as they complete the qualifying session here. And the time is 10th fastest, 3:39.5. Ahead of Verstappen, just behind Herzig. As we welcome Max McRae.
So there's still some people, even though you're like your Korhonen and Mabellini and Armstrong are sitting in the top three, there's 3 or 4 drivers further down, maybe a cleaner road, maybe a rougher road, but they could just nail it and get it right. Am I hearing them laughing in there? I thought I could hear the co-driver
welcome back to the
laughing.
European Rally Championship. Fastest by 5 seconds in Masters and 10th overall. Are you pleased with that?
Yeah, I'm very happy with that. That means we could have a good result for tomorrow morning. I mean, in a starting order, I think we could be in the around 13 or between and 17, and this is a really good starting position for tomorrow. To be honest, this was the plan. That doesn't mean that we could come maybe 5 seconds faster, but that could mean that it was a safe run and it was a good run. Thank you.
Safe run and a good run, and he is a good bit quicker than Verstappen. But then for Verstappen, this is very much a learning curve, as we've already heard him say on gravel. But Duran feeling quite confident. They're sounding confident. He looks a happy man. Whoa, Mixie style in full effect here.
It's the first time I've seen him in anything other than a Skoda as well. He's been in a Skoda all the time. And
last corner.
Got his hands on a Citroen now.
3.9 seconds off the pace right at the front then. For Mixie Shimos, it is 7th fastest, 3:37.7.
There's a lot of laughing from Antti, but there's they're looking down at the dashboard. I think it's because it's a new car. They're kind of like, where are all the buttons and the switches? How do I turn it all off?
Yeah, that may be the case. Isak Riasson now. It's great to have Isak with us on the ERC. Let's hear from Mixie. We'll come back to him.
Mixie, it is fantastic to see you back in the European Rally Championship. Tell us, was it Mixie style in here?
Hello. Yes, I really happy. So we started the rally home rally. So absolutely crazy. So the start position is 20, not so good. So very strong the stage and very big rocks. So absolutely crazy. We enjoyed in the car, we learned in the car, we learned in the tires. So waiting for the tomorrow and finish the rally. Thank you.
He looks a happy man. He's not so happy with the starting position in qualifying there, he feels. A lot of big rocks have been pulled out.
Yeah, he's going, we'll start the rally tomorrow. Yeah, there's a stage tonight, but the big rally starts tomorrow. Yeah, and he's already talking about finishing it. Come on, you can enjoy the 2 days. McRae just slightly wide there, but there's that first corner we see, that right-hander. There's a stone on the inside. Some are taking the stone over the middle of the car. Some are taking... That'll do, yep.
That's a great time on the board. He must have some good memories, Max McRae, of this event from last year in the junior category. 10th fastest through for McRae, 3:38.6.
Norbert and Francesca might be interesting to see how they get on. They have driven this car in Romania, but now the first time on international duty in here with the watching world.
Max, that's a really strong time, 10th quickest overall. How hard were you pushing?
I was trying, however, it's completely unknown for me coming from the juniors last year, so yeah, definitely have to push pretty hard, but the pace is so high, so it's but it's good fun. But yeah, now I gotta go get some sleep because I'm not feeling very well. But yeah, we're looking forward to tonight.
Oh no, that's not good that he's not feeling the best. Yeah, a shut eye somewhere back at the hotel before tonight's super special stages. We need him on all.
Haven't got very long though, have they? Because we're all back kind of starting formal procedures at around 5 o'clock.
Yeah, that's true. Tell you what though, these drivers they decide to sleep, they can just shut themselves down. That's the best thing. Now, Isak, we saw him on Royal Rally of Scandinavia last year, 7th overall. It was a great run from him. But that was the only ERC event that we saw.
In this top category, he did Sweden the year before, and he was in like a front-wheel drive car, won the category. But yeah, 3rd in the championship in Sweden last year, and I think there's don't want to put too much pressure on him here on a new rally for him, but you know, this is a good thing for me going into the next rally. Look at that time. That's a good time, though.
It's a great time on the board. So that's just 2.2 seconds adrift of Korhonen, which puts him 5th fastest in qualifying. That is going to be a real confidence boost ahead of tomorrow's stages. That's a really strong run from Isak.
What I was going to say, I don't want to put too much pressure on him, but whatever he can learn here this weekend, he'll put him in good stead for Sweden, and then he's just gone and done that. Brilliant.
It's a great angle, isn't it?
I love that, yeah.
Through there, how pleased are you with that?
I'm really pleased. It's so rough, nothing I've been close to ever, so it's a totally new world. I can't believe the car is working, and it's really rough. You just have to leave your brain on the start and just go. It's crazy, but it's really fun.
Well, you need to pop back and pick it up if you don't mind, Isak. They can't look after that brain forever. It's a great line, though. But, you know, as he said, there's nothing close to anything that he's ever really competed on before. But what a great time in qualifying.
Because, you know, in Sweden on a second pass, it can be some ruts. But this is, I think it's the stones for him here as well. But let's see. Oh, but yeah, you got to leave your brain on the start line. But he had that smile on his face. His eyes were wide open as if like, that was amazing. I loved it.
More of that to follow this weekend. We have a total of 13 stages that we'll be broadcasting live. Kicking off with the opening stage this evening, the Super Special. There are the yellow boards for Norbert and Francesca Meyer. And there we go, 8.5 seconds off the pace of Roope Korhonen. That is 14th fastest.
I think the problem for some of these new drivers in these cars stepping up to Rally 2, 14th fastest, depending on where they end up on the road tomorrow, can really sap their confidence if they're at the front. So let's see how it goes, but interesting weekend ahead.
Oh, a very interesting weekend. Hopefully you're going to be joining us for all of it. As I said, we will be at every single stage of the weekend here at the second round of the ERC. Let's catch up with Norbert Meyer, get his thoughts on qualifying.
Norbert, welcome back to the European Rally Championship. You've been away to the World Championship, back with us. How are you feeling?
I miss you, to be honest. Yeah, the feeling is amazing. I'm driving a Rally 2 car in ERC. What I could, I do more. I want more because yeah, it's unbelievable. But to be honest, it's quite difficult to understand a bit the pace. We are trying to improve stage by stage. Also here in the qualifying. Okay, now was quite destroyed the road, but yeah, we are trying to improve. Doesn't matter what. So yeah, we are happy first to be here, and after it's learning for us. So I just want to have a decent pace and to fight for some position. Doesn't matter where, but I want to fight to improve our pace and our setup, our car and everything. But yeah, it's nice to be back.
And it's good to have you both back on the championship. It certainly is. Okay, stage classification for you then. Roope Korhonen, the fastest in qualifying, 3:33.8 the time. Mabellini was only a 1/10 of a second off that pace. Then John Armstrong, 9/10 behind. Then Tempestini, last year's winner here at Rally Hungary, 4th fastest. Then Isak Grierson, 5th fastest. Mikko Marcik, 6th. Osberg, 7th. And Shimos, 8th, with Matulka 9th. Martin Laszlo completing the top 10 through qualification here. A very interesting qualifying session for us all to watch. We will, of course, have the Super Special stage this evening. That is one to look forward to. That kicks off at 6:05 in the evening, and there's a schedule for the next 2 days. Basically, if it's moving on the stage, we are live and we are following it. It is going to be a fantastic weekend here at Rally Hungary. It's the second round of the championship. The first one was thrilling. This event was fantastic last year, so you can expect a lot of thrills and spills throughout it. We're going to take a break now, but we'll be back later on for this super special. We hope you'll join us.